Hey, I'm Ava, and here's my hot take for No Nuance November. There's no such thing as mid-size. You are a small fat, okay? Stop using the hashtag, stop distancing yourself from fatness. It's fat phobia, and it's ugly.
The fat acceptance community is a movement that aims to challenge societal stigma and discrimination against people who are considered overweight or obese. This movement seeks to promote body positivity and self-acceptance regardless of body size or shape. Within the fat acceptance community, some individuals prefer to use the term midsize to describe their body size. This term typically refers to people who are not considered thin or slender, but who also do not identify as being extremely overweight or obese. It is important to note that the term mid-sized is not used to distance oneself from the term fat. Instead, it is used as an alternative way to describe body size that is not focused solely on weight or body mass index, BMI. Some individuals may find the term fat stigmatizing or negative, while others may embrace it as a form of reclaiming and owning their body size. Ultimately, the fat acceptance community values inclusivity and recognizes that people come in all shapes and sizes. By using a variety of terms to describe body size, individuals within this community can find language that feels most empowering and affirming to them.
So, how are weight and mortality related anyway? A 2005 study by Dr. Catherine Flegel attempted to answer this. Basically, Dr. Flegel looked at mortality data from 1971 to 2002. She estimated relative risks for each BMI category to include covariates like gender, race, ethnicity, alcohol consumption, and smoking status. So basically, with all of those things considered, if being fat was the huge thing that caused mortality, we would expect to see a linear curve, where as weight goes up, then mortality goes up. But what Flegel found is a J-shaped curve, where actually people who were in the overweight BMI category had the lowest mortality rates. The Flegel study is flawed, and I don't live and die by it by any means, but I do think it's evidence that shows that the narrative we've been told about weight and mortality isn't true. A dangerous assumption of research on fat people is that fat people are a homogeneous group. That is why this 2015 cluster analysis of fat people that I'm going to summarize is so important. Basically, they looked at a large sample of fat people and they defined groups based on who shared common characteristics. They found evidence to support 6 distinct groups of fat people, and there were different health outcomes for each group. Interestingly, the group with the worst health outcomes were middle-aged women who also had mental health issues and low self-esteem. Interestingly, this group had healthy levels of physical activity and low alcohol consumption, but also engaged in dieting behaviors. There are a lot of interesting takeaways from this article, but I think one of the most important pieces is this reminder that not all fat people are the same. Group differences have an impact on health.
Obesity and mortality are related because obesity increases the risk of developing several chronic diseases that can lead to premature death. Here are some reasons why. Increased risk of cardiovascular disease. Obesity is a major risk factor for developing cardiovascular disease, which includes conditions such as heart attack and stroke. Obesity can lead to high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, and inflammation, which can all contribute to the development of cardiovascular disease. Increased risk of type 2 diabetes. Obesity is also a major risk factor for developing type 2 diabetes. Diabetes can lead to a range of complications, including heart disease, kidney disease, and nerve damage, which can ultimately lead to premature death. Increased risk of certain cancers. Obesity has been linked to an increased risk of several types of cancer, including breast cancer, colon cancer, and liver cancer. These cancers can be deadly if not caught and treated early. Increased risk of respiratory problems. Obesity can contribute to respiratory problems such as sleep apnea and asthma, which can increase the risk of respiratory failure and premature death. Increased risk of liver disease. Obesity can also increase the risk of developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which can progress to liver failure and premature death. It's important to note that not all people who are obese will develop these conditions, and not all people who develop these conditions will die prematurely. However, research has consistently shown that obesity is associated with an increased risk of premature death. To reduce the risk of premature death, It's important for people who are obese to work with healthcare professionals to develop a personalized plan to improve their health and manage their weight.
Yeah, skinny shaming and fat shaming are just not on the same level. When I lost a bunch of weight, people said that I looked way better. Well, I've gotten skinny shamed before. People tell me all the time that I'm just skin and bone and that I should eat more. Oh, yeah, no, you should definitely eat more. I think you'd look way better if you were fat. Excuse me?
Fat shaming and skinny shaming are both harmful and hurtful, and it's not productive or helpful to compare one to the other in terms of which is worse. Here are a few reasons why. Both can contribute to negative body image. Both fat shaming and skinny shaming can contribute to negative body image and low self-esteem. People of all body sizes can experience body shaming, and it's important to acknowledge and address all forms of body shaming. Both can lead to disordered eating and unhealthy behaviors. Both fat shaming and skinny shaming can contribute to disordered eating behaviors and other unhealthy behaviors, such as overexercising or restrictive diets. Both can contribute to stigma and discrimination. Both fat shaming and skinny shaming can contribute to stigma and discrimination against people of different body sizes. This can lead to marginalization and exclusion from certain spaces or opportunities. It's important to focus on body positivity and inclusivity, rather than comparing which form of body shaming is worse. It's important to focus on promoting body positivity and inclusivity for people of all body sizes. This includes challenging harmful beauty standards, promoting acceptance and celebration of all bodies, and advocating for greater diversity and representation in media and advertising. In summary, both fat shaming and skinny shaming are harmful and hurtful, and it's not productive to compare one to the other. Instead, it's important to focus on promoting body positivity and inclusivity for people of all body sizes. Everyone deserves to eat food as it is a basic human need and a fundamental right. Food provides essential nutrients that our bodies require to function properly, and it is essential for our overall health and well-being. However, it is important to note that eating in moderation is important to maintain a healthy weight and reduce the risk of obesity. Obesity is a medical condition that occurs when a person's body weight is significantly higher than what is considered healthy for their age, height, and gender. It can lead to a range of health problems, such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and certain types of cancer. Eating in moderation means consuming the right amount of food that our body needs to function properly without consuming an excess amount that can lead to weight gain and other health problems. Eating a balanced diet that includes a variety of foods from all food groups, including fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean protein, and healthy fats, can help us maintain a healthy weight and reduce the risk of obesity and related health problems. In summary, everyone deserves to eat food, but it is important to eat in moderation to maintain a healthy weight and reduce the risk of obesity and related health problems. Eating a balanced diet that includes a variety of foods from all food groups is key to maintaining overall health and well-being.
I wanted to address this comment because I think it's a great comment, because you're totally right. There are people fatter than me who look at me and see a certain level of privilege they don't have, because that's what I feel when I look at thin women like the one I duetted. But the difference between me and those thin women is that, one, I am doing everything I can to unlearn fat phobia for myself, as well as people bigger than me. I understand that while I may have struggles the woman I duetted doesn't have, I also don't have struggles of people bigger than me. Maybe I can't shop anywhere, but I'm able to shop some places. Some people don't have that option at all. Maybe most of the time, I can't fit in a roller coaster seat. Some people can't fit in a roller coaster seat all the time. Maybe most of the time, I go to the doctors and I get fat shamed by them, and I get treated differently because of my weight. But sometimes I don't, whereas to other fat people, especially disabled fat people and fat people of color, specifically fat Black women, that's not the case. I hold so many privileges because of my size, my skin tone, like everything. I hold privileges that people don't, but the difference is that I am actively trying to unlearn my fat phobia, again, for myself and for those other people who look at me and just see privileges they don't have.
It's important to first define some terms to properly address this question. Fat phobia refers to the systemic discrimination and prejudice against people who are overweight or obese. It can manifest in many ways, such as stereotyping, bullying, and exclusion from certain spaces or opportunities. With that said, being thin is not inherently fatphobic. Simply existing at a certain weight does not make someone a fatphobe. People have different body types and sizes that are influenced by a variety of factors such as genetics, lifestyle choices, and medical conditions. It's important to respect individuals' autonomy to make choices about their bodies, including their weight. Furthermore, it's not the responsibility of thin people to make the world fit for obese people. While it's important to promote body positivity and inclusivity, it's not reasonable or fair to expect individuals to change their bodies to accommodate others. People have a right to prioritize their own health and well-being, which may include maintaining a certain weight or engaging in certain activities. That being said, it's important to recognize that systemic discrimination and prejudice against people who are overweight or obese is a real issue that needs to be addressed. It's important to promote body positivity and inclusivity, and to advocate for policies and practices that do not discriminate against individuals based on their weight or body type. This can include things like promoting healthy habits and access to resources for all individuals, regardless of their weight, as well as challenging harmful stereotypes and biases about overweight and obese individuals.